Hello, my name is Kaitlyn. Today I'm going to do the 25 bookish facts about me book tag thing. I wasn't tagged in this, but I thought I would do it anyway because I am just starting out. This will let anyone watching know a little bit more about me. Also, I don't actually have 25 facts. I have maybe like 22. Anyway, the first fact is that I don't listen to audiobooks, but I want to. The only audiobook that I've ever listened to was the second Harry Potter book. I was a child and we were going on a road trip, me and my parents, and so we listened to the second Harry Potter audiobook in the car. And I remember liking it, but I feel like it took a lot longer to listen to than it would have taken for me to read it, which isn't a big deal, but sometimes I feel like I would get impatient with it, like, come on, I want to know what's gonna happen next, hurry up. But I feel like when I'm reading really fast, sometimes I can miss some details. So I think for that reason, reading more audiobooks might be a good idea for me. When I'm reading physical copies of books, this is just a notebook, but when I'm reading physical copies of books, I like to use bookmarks rather than dog-earing the pages. But also I don't use actual bookmarks, I just use a random piece of paper. Or if I have a notebook, I'll just rip out a chunk of the notebook and shove it in the book that I'm reading to mark my place. Or if I have a hardcover book with the dust jacket on, I'll just flip that into the book and then close it. But I read a lot of ebooks rather than physical books, which I've talked about before. I have 2 e-readers, I have a Kindle and I have a Nook, plus I read on my phone. It's just more convenient for me. I don't drink tea while reading books. I know this is a thing that a lot of people do. I've tried to do it, but when I make the tea and I put it next to me, when I start reading I just forget that the tea is there, and then after a couple hours go by, I'll notice the tea and it's cold. I work second shift, so I get out of work at 11:30, so I get home at midnight, and then at midnight I start reading. So if I get really engrossed in a book, sometimes I can be up until 5 or 6 in the morning reading. But I try not to do that. I try to stop at 3, but that doesn't always work if I'm really wanting to finish a book. I prefer books that are set in a college setting rather than a high school setting, not only because that's closer to my age group, but I think it's just more interesting. I don't understand why there aren't more young adult books where someone's in their first year of college. That's such an interesting time period in someone's life. They're away from their parents, they have all this freedom. Also in so many YA contemporary books, they don't even utilize the parents when it's a high school student. They'll just make the parents not care that their child is running around doing whatever. But if they just set the story in college, then this kid would have all this freedom and you wouldn't really have to worry about the parents that much because they're at college. And a campus is just an interesting thing. You've got all these people that are the same age. I just don't get why this isn't a more popular setting, both in books and TV shows. Why is there so much stuff about high school students? Where's the stuff for college kids, man? Another wonderful fact is that I have read lots and lots of fan fiction in my time. I've also written quite a bit of fan fiction, starting when I was 13. It's been a while since I've written any. In high school I went through a huge paranormal romance phase, crazy, super intense paranormal romance. Every book that I read was paranormal romance or Sarah Dessen, contemporary, and it was all because of Twilight. Twilight started that all for me, and a lot of other people, I've heard. I also used to love romance books in general. Occasionally I still do, but I have to be in the mood for it, and I'm really picky about it now, and I didn't used to be in high school. I'm really critical about glamorizing unhealthy and emotionally abusive relationships. I feel like I read so many books that did that in high school and I didn't even realize it. I was just oh wow, he's obsessed with her, this is great, this is what love is. It's not. If I read a book with a lot of romance or sexy scenes, I'd rather it be a queer romance. Because I myself am pansexual or bisexual, whichever, they're the same in my mind, even though I know there's a distinction to a lot of people. So anyway, I am pansexual. And when I'm reading, I like to be able to get away from the like gender expectations that I see in a lot of like hetero romance books. And I turn to fanfiction a lot of times for this. I really want to read more books by comedians and more like funny books in general, because I really like comedy. I like stand-up comedy. And so I want to incorporate that into my reading. My mom was the librarian at my elementary school, and that influenced my reading a lot as a child. She really pushed me to read. I think I've addressed this before in a video. And many years ago I applied to several libraries, but I never got hired. So instead I worked at a grocery store. I used to read a lot of books, not a lot, but like kind of a lot of books about North Korea, and I want to read some more now because it's been years since I have. Another fact is that I cannot choose a favorite Harry Potter book. I see people choosing a favorite Harry Potter book and I don't understand. I just can't. I can't. I really can't. I can't listen to music while I'm reading because I'll just get distracted and I'll listen to the music rather than focusing on the words in the book. There's just too many things going on. I gotta focus. I don't have like a preference between hardcover or paperback. I pretty much will just like buy what's there or what's cheaper, which is why I go with ebooks actually most of the time. The very last fact that I have on here, which is numbered 21, I don't even know if that's right, but it's not 25, so the title of this is misleading. But anyway, the last fact that I have is that I cry really easily during books. I'm a big crybaby. I'm a big, sensitive child. And I can't help it. I just cry. Something sad happens, I will cry. If something like moving, even if it's not sad, happens, I will cry. Like, even when it's not just books, if I'm like experiencing some form of art that's just like so beautiful, I will just cry. Like, if I'm traveling and I go to this like beautiful building, I will cry. If I go to an art gallery and I see a beautiful piece of art, I will cry. I cry a lot when it comes to art things because people just do such a good job and they make such amazing things, and it just like all the emotions come out of me and I cry. This happens a lot with books as well. So yes, that was the 20 facts about me, bookish facts about me. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.